And let me just give a few moments for the software to get situated, for the people to join. Stress. Some people are taking medication for stress. Some people are losing sleep because of stress. Stress is wreaking havoc in people's lives. Okay, I think I'm all set over here. So welcome in, welcome in. This live is actually, where'd it go? Hold on a minute. I got so many windows open. I don't need that one. I need this one. Okay. So stress. Hello, Angela. Hello, Johnny. Welcome. Give it a few minutes. More people will be joining. It's funny because I help athletes and people will line up to learn about golf, but they don't necessarily line up to learn about stress, although they are exactly related. What we consider stress is what affects somebody's ability to perform well. And it's not just in sports, it's in everything. And that's why, even though I'm an expert of the mental game for athletes, I help all sorts of people because it's the same thing. So, what I'm going to talk to you about is something that I honestly believe could change daily life for a whole lot of people if they really just understood it. And that's that a lot of people, they're not stressed only because of what is happening. They are stressed because of what they are making what is happening mean. And when you start to see things differently like that, there's an opportunity there for you. And I want to be really clear about that opportunity because I'm not just talking about a nice thought or some cute little perspective shift. I'm talking about a real path out of a whole lot of unnecessary suffering because most people think the way to get from where they are right now, where they're overwhelmed, mentally loud, emotionally reactive, always on edge, always carrying too much, to get from that to where they want to be, which is calmer and steadier and more peaceful, more grounded. They think that you get from point A to point B by life cooperating, those outside things just getting in alignment and doing better, right? They think when the schedule slows down, when the family calms down, when the situation gets handled, when people act right, when the uncertainty goes away, when I finally know what's going to happen, then I'll feel better. But if that were the real path to get from where you are to where you're looking to go, a whole lot more people would already be at peace. And so that's the issue, right? So the opportunity that I want to present today is this. The real path to more peaceful life is not getting the outside to finally behave. It's learning how to stop creating so much extra suffering through the meaning that you automatically attach to what happens. And that is a very different vehicle to get to where you're looking to be. And it is very powerful because it means peace is not just for people with easy lives. It means calm is not just for people with fewer responsibilities. It means a different inner life is actually possible, even in the middle of a real life. And if I had to give you the one big domino for this whole live event right now, it would be this. If the meaning you assign is helping create your stress, then changing how you think about what happens is not optional. It is the real vehicle to getting the peace that you want. And that's the big relief because once someone really gets that, it becomes obvious why they need more than just coping, right? More than waiting, more than hoping life gets easier. Now they understand they need a different inner operating system. And I care so much about this because I have watched, so many people spend years trying to get peace through the wrong path. They've tried controlling more and overthinking and figuring everything out and staying ahead of everything and staying alert and trying to make life predictable, trying to make everybody else okay, trying to solve the outside so the inside can finally relax. And yet they still feel stressed. And why is that? Because the outside was never the full problem. So, a lot of times, what is really happening is an event occurs, the mind instantly assigns meaning to it, and then the body and emotions react to that meaning like it's truth. A text gets answered differently than they had hoped, and now it means rejection. Somebody is quiet, and now it means something is wrong. A delay happens, and now it means everything is off. A hard conversation happens, and now it means danger. A feeling comes up, and now it means I'm not okay. Uncertainty shows up, and now it means panic. And that is what people are often living in. And a lot of times, the meaning creates more suffering than the moment itself. And that's the epiphany that I want you to have right now. So I've seen people spend so much of their life reacting not only to life, but to the story they told themselves about life. And because that story feels immediate, they treat it like fact. And that's where the spiral begins. So let's go through 3 secrets that I want to share with you that'll help you to see not only the vehicle related to how you thought you were going to get from unsettled and unhappy and stressed out to, you know, calm and peaceful and feeling good. Like that vehicle that what you've been trying to get there, how that hasn't been working. Um, some of the false beliefs that you've been carrying around that have kept you from getting to where you want to be. So, secret number 1 is related to how you thought you were going to find peace and happiness and like calmness, right? It's the vehicle that you've been using or that you thought you needed to get there. And the false vehicle that most people have been using is they think the way to peace is to get the outside under control. If he didn't do that, if she didn't do that, if that didn't happen, if I could change that, if he would just do this instead, if she would just listen, right? A person can think the way to peace is that outside needs to get under control. So they think that's the vehicle. Well, if that was better, then I would be better, right? That's the vehicle that they have been trusting. So fix the circumstances, fix the person, fix the schedule, fix the uncertainty, fix the problem, fix the relationship, fix the future, fix the outside. And again, yes, some things in life do need to be handled, but that vehicle is not getting most people where they want to go because the outside is never going to become controlled enough to carry the full burden of your peace. So there will still be people There'll still be uncertainty. There'll still be inconvenience. There'll still be emotion. There'll still be seasons that feel harder than others. So if your peace depends on outer perfection, then you stay fragile. That is the wrong vehicle. Not only has that not gotten you there already, but it will never get you to where you want to be. Stress free, peaceful, calm. Hi, Rob. Hi, Justin. Hi, Oscar, Celine, Cowboy, Yellen, uh, L. Landers. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. So the real vehicle to get you from this stressed state, this frustrated stress, whatever, unhappy state, the vehicle to get you to where you want to go, peace, calm, happiness, all that, is changing how you think about what happens, changing the meaning you automatically assign, changing the interpretation, changing the mental pattern, changing how quickly you turn a moment into a story, changing what your mind does with silence, right? With pressure, with uncertainty, with discomfort. That is the mental game for every human. That is the true vehicle, because the same event can create two very different inner experiences depending on what meaning a person assigns to it. That is why mindset matters. That is why interpretation matters. That is why the inner game matters. And that is why what I offer is so different, because I'm not just helping people calm down, I'm helping them change the actual vehicle they've been using to try to get peace. And that is rare and that is super powerful. So, secret number two, related to you personally and some internal beliefs that you've been carrying around that are false. So, this is where people think maybe I'm just an anxious person, right? These are labels. Maybe I'm just wired this way. Maybe I overthink too much. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe peace works for other people, but not for me. Maybe I've always been this way and always will be. And I really want to slow this down for a moment, because a lot of people are making identity statements about what are actually trained thinking patterns, right? So if you put this big fat label on you, then you're like, that's just who I am. And then you just throw in the towel. You don't necessarily do anything about it because you don't think you can do anything about it. So if you're making these identity statements about things that are actually just trained thinking, big difference, right? Because it's not identity then, it's pattern. A pattern of assigning stressful meaning quickly, a pattern of making silence mean rejection, a pattern of making uncertainty mean danger, a pattern of making discomfort mean something is wrong, a pattern of making normal human moments mean too much. And if it is a pattern, it can be changed, right? Versus that label that you think, oh, this is just who I am. And then you think that can't be changed. But if you recognize it as a thought pattern, it can be changed. And that is the hopeful part, because then the question is not, what is wrong with me, right? The question becomes, what is my mind automatically doing? What meaning am I assigning? What story am I believing immediately? What pattern have I been rehearsing? And that is where real change begins. And that is exactly why my framework works, because I help people understand how their conscious mind is participating in stress, what they keep making things mean, how that drives their emotional and physical response, and how subconscious programming keeps those meanings feeling automatic, and how to actually retrain those patterns so life stops feeling so heavy all the time. So, no, this is not just for naturally calm people. And no, this is not just for people with easy lives, right? This is not just for the lucky few. This can change for you. And it's just that mindset shift. And then the third secret that I want to share with you right now is related to those external things. And, the belief that if that was different, I would be better. If he acted right, I would feel better. If he did this or didn't do that, I'd be better. If she did this or didn't do that, everything, our relationship would be great. So the external false beliefs, this is where people say, I'd feel better if life slowed down. I'd feel better if people were easier, if my family were different, if work weren't so demanding, if this season would just pass, if I had more certainty, if this one situation would finally get resolved, then I'd be better, right? And you can see I'm pointing my finger at all these external things. And yes, those things can absolutely affect people, but the outside is not the full blocker, because two people can go through similar life moments and have very different internal experiences. I've seen this over and over again in my private practice. One year, I had two different women going through divorces, and they both had hired me to help them to kind of get that clarity and what they're, the next chapter in their life kind of thing. And it just so happened they were scheduled the same day. One was at 9 a.m., the other was at like 11 a.m. I know they were both in the morning. And the first woman was bawling her eyes out, and she was upset because she was going through a divorce. And you can see that she added meaning to that. It, meant life was over. It meant she was sinning. It meant, everything was going to be hard from here on out, and she was very devastated by it. Literally, my next client, a woman going through a divorce. So the common denominator, divorce, right? External thing. And she was actually hiring me to help her to get clarity about the next chapter in her life. She was, going through a transition. She wasn't losing sleep. She wasn't crying. She understood that changes were happening and she wanted some clarity. So that's a great example of how, pointing the finger and thinking this external thing is causing the pain and suffering. So two people can go through similar life moments and have very different internal experiences. And why is that? It is the meaning they are attaching to the external event. One person makes a delay mean inconvenient but manageable, right? Another person makes it everything is off. Now I'm behind. This is bad. I can't handle this, right? You can see this all day long. Traffic. This is horrible. This town sucks. Everything's always a mess. I'm never going to be on time. Or somebody else is like, this is an inconvenience, but I'm going to just adjust a few things. It's manageable. Let me turn on a podcast, my favorite podcast. Let me listen to music. Let me roll down the windows and enjoy the fresh air, right? Two different responses to the same situation. So, one person makes silence mean, oh, well, they're busy, right? You text somebody, they don't text you back. Oh, well, they're busy. Another person makes it mean I'm being rejected. Something is wrong. I'm not okay. She doesn't really like me. He doesn't like me, right? And that is why the real blocker is not only the situation. The real blocker is that most people have never been taught how much suffering is being created by what they make things mean. So if your peace depends on life becoming easier, you stay stuck. But if you learn how not to make every moment mean something painful and dangerous, self defining, then everything starts changing. And that is where freedom begins. So now let's make this super practical. All right. So the next time you feel yourself getting stressed, I want you to ask, what actually happened? Then, what did I make it mean? And that question alone can change so much because many times the event is one thing and the meaning is what turned into the spiral, right? So then you ask, is that actually true? Or is that just the first story my mind grabbed? And then ask, what else could be true? Or even, could this mean less than I'm making it mean? And that is not denial, that is wisdom. So then come back to the body. Slow your breath, relax the jaw, drop the shoulders, feel your feet. Come back to now because the body starts living inside the story also. So let's transition because if this is resonating with you and you're still watching, that tells me it is resonating with you. Then you already know this goes much deeper than I need to calm down because this is about the way you think, the way you interpret, the meaning you automatically assign all day long, the stories your mind grabs and treats like truth, the patterns that keep creating unnecessary stress and fear and heaviness. And that is exactly why I created the products and the services and the programs I've created in this area because understanding the concept is powerful, but having a full system to actually retrain how your mind works is what changes your life much faster and much more deeply. So here's what I want to share with you. For stress-free, mindful living, I have two ways that you can step into the work. One is called the main, and one is the optimal. And these are both online courses that come stacked with other products. So the main option is a monthly subscription. And inside that, you get the exclusive framework that I created for transforming mind and habits and beliefs and patterns and programming. That's 21 video lessons. They're each about an hour and a half to 2 hours. There's also one hypnosis audio included in that package and access to the Mind Mastered Collective, which is a private community with direct access to me and exclusive content and community support, other like-minded people, monthly group sessions, and I also do in there monthly dialogue with Dawn, their live Q&A group calls. And there's also years of recorded dialogue with Dawn that are replays. Those monthly live dialogue with Dawns have been all recorded and are available as replays. So that's the main, and it's set up again as a monthly subscription. And then the optimal stress-free mindful living, that option is deeper lifetime access. All right. So it includes, again, the full 21 lesson framework that I created lifetime access, not only month by month, lesson specific hypnosis audios. Almost every single one of those 21 lessons has its own hypnosis audio versus the main that had just the one. Again, access to Mind Mastered Collective, private community with exclusive content. You get direct access to me through the community, live events, group sessions, and the monthly Dialogue with Dawn Q&A calls. And then every month for several years, we have recorded those live Q&A calls, and they're available as well. So all that matters, because some people, they want the monthly entry point, pay per month, and you get access as long as you're paying. And some, they already know they want the full system, fuller hypnosis support, and that lifetime access. So those are the stacks. Those are the programs. And you are not just getting information, you're getting a complete framework. Subconscious reinforcement, community, live support, direct access, and years of replays to help you stop using the wrong vehicle for peace and start building a calmer, clearer, more grounded way of living from the inside out. All right. So if this speaks to you and you are tired of letting every moment mean so much that it keeps stealing your peace, this is the time to step in. So choose the level that fits you best, whether it's main or optimal, because your stress is not shaped only by what happens. It is shaped by what you keep making what happens mean. And if you're ready to change that, this is exactly what I created this work for. So I'd be happy to help you. I appreciate you being here and tuning into this live. Definitely reach out if you have any questions. Otherwise, I would say to go to dawngrant.com. Says start here, the drop down, and you'll see stress-free mindful living. There's an entire page devoted to people just like you, and you will see the stacks, the optimal option and the main, the online courses with all the other great products and services included there. So take a look. Again, it's dawngrant.com. That's me. Check it out, because I would love to help you. That is what I am here for. So see you next week in the live or in the Mind Mastered Collective private community. See you all. Bye-bye. Thanks for being here.